I'm 23 and I do not know what I'm good at. Like, oh, 19, I still have time now. It's 25. 20, I still have time now. It's 25. I still have 5 more years. 21, oh, I still have 4 more years. 22, I still have 3 more years. But now I'm 23. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Glory, if you're new here. And if you're a returning subscriber, my name is still Glory. Here I talk about faith, I talk about lifestyle, and I also talk about nursing. So today's video is just going to be like chill because I don't know, I plan to do something, but something just came up right now, and I don't know, I'm just probably just going to get on with it first before I do what I plan to do. Or I don't know, which one should I do first? So yeah, I'm just going to get into the video. As you can tell from the title, it's just like a little chit chat with you guys. I just thought to come on today and be a little bit open and more. I've always been honest, so I don't say more honest, but just kind of, you know, basically have a little chit chat with you guys and bring you into just a little bit, kind of like bringing you guys into the inner court a little bit. I keep saying a little bit. But, I think that's the best thing I can use to describe whatever this video is, going to be about. So, and I probably, if you're a regular subscriber, which I don't think you should not be if you're currently watching this video, so please do the needful and subscribe. Thank you so much. It just shows appreciation for the content and also like my efforts. Okay, I mean, it's not easy to like document and film your life and also like, share a part of yourself with people, especially like strangers, right? But the more you share yourself, and so not yourself but like a little bit of your life with people, the more you become like less of strangers with them. So I guess that should be a good reason for you to subscribe and like the video. I mean, by the end you're going to like the video, obviously. So yes, today, if you have been following my content, or if you're new here, I'm just letting you know that I moved to Williams Lake basically, and I was formerly in Kamloops and I just moved to Williams Lake, and I decided to move to Williams Lake in May because I wanted to have a little bit of time to myself before school would officially resume. So school resumes in September, but then I didn't want to move in August because I knew that if I had moved in August, I would be wanting to try to settle in, have to quit my old job, start looking for a new job, trying to do all those things, getting to learn how, to go around the town and, getting to learn how the town is and, stuff like that, just finding my way around. I just felt like I would have like very limited time and it would be like in a hurry. And so I just wanted to have like a very slow process of settling into the new town. And so I decided to move once my exams were done in Kamloops, TRU over there, and so Thompson Rivers University. And so I decided to move to Williams Lake to study nursing. Obviously, I moved because I got an offer to study nursing here at Williams Lake. So I just wanted that process to be a little bit slower. And because I think I wouldn't be able to handle such, busyness and such instability. I mean, if it had happened in August, if the move had happened or were to happen in August, so I just respected myself basically and moved earlier. Even though I would, I'm giving up like, the fact that, I not like I'm giving up the fact that my friends were there, number one, the fact that like, the town was more lively, Kamloops was more lively, and here it's kind of like bleh, like it's so down and so yeah. But it was one sacrifice I just had to make. So with that being said, I really haven't put out videos since I moved to Williams Lake because I'm still trying to find my footing, and also trying to just think about my content and like where this content is going to go to, or like sorry, where this content is heading to in the future, or like where my YouTube channel is heading to in the future, and just things like that. And also trying to set up my room and my personal space, and trying to get a routine. And so I had to put a not like a pause, because I have been filming videos, but then I have just not been editing them, and so they have kind of like been compiling, and I'm getting to that, but I'm getting to that slowly and at my own pace, which I appreciate. And so I also just wanted to have just like a little bit of a chat with you guys, just to let you in on the process and what my headspace is at this time, because again, I also see this as like a digital diary sort of, because I'm documenting my life here. Right? So I mean, right from when I think even just a little bit before I came to Canada, I started like my YouTube channel. And so I just feel like my YouTube channel is kind of like a digital diary of my life, not my whole life, but my life from then. And so excuse me. And so yeah, I think that's fun. So if it's a diary, important things we shouldn't skip, like even the important things, because like I mean, that it's your journal. If that's your diary, you write things that are important, and you also talk about like your mental process and things like that, or your mental health and stuff. Yeah. So last week, my I had like a mental breakdown. I don't know if you obviously saw the video where I said I was planning to go to Nigeria. So it wasn't like a well thought out plan, but it was thought out. I had thought about it, but it wasn't like thought out. So I decided to go back to Nigeria because of a different number of things. Number one, I was like, in as much as my major reason was to go get a driver's license, sorry, and also like gain experience working in a hospital or something, the other parts I didn't talk about was just like the mental stress of moving and trying to settle in a new town. And I don't know, I think I'm okay being alone. I'm very used to being alone, but I was also missing family, and yeah, also missing like familiarity. I was missing family, and I was missing familiarity. So I just wanted to go home all of a sudden, and use that time to gain experience driving, and also like in the hospital and stuff like that, or in a healthcare setting. So that was that. And yeah, and a few other things too, like with work. I was having a little bit of like I was having an issue with work, and yeah, I just wanted to not run away, but just leave it and come back later, right? But I talked to my mom, and she was able to help me get out of that space and like figure out what to do. Yeah, she was able to help me figure out what to do. So that's that. We move with the moving. Like in case you're wondering why, oh, she's not in Nigeria, but she said she was going to Nigeria. That's the reason. Right. So I decided to stay, and I decided to face it head on. So that's what I'm doing right now. And so yeah, I think the major like chit chat begins right now. So I turned 23 this May, like May 6th. Praise the Lord. But I was excited. Was I? But I was also a little bit scared, because I feel like 23 is that age where you can no longer say you are young. You're not old, but you can't say you're young, right? 23. I remember like my sister called me, and she was asking me, we're having this conversation, and she was asking me, how do you feel now that you're turning 23? And when you turn 22, like, was it like, how did you feel turning 22? And I was like, oh, when I turned 22, like I didn't really feel any sort of pressure. Like I was just like, oh, it's another year. Like obviously I'm 1 year older, 1 year wiser and stuff like that. And I was looking forward to the experience of being 22, but I just saw it as like one more year to my morning season almost coming to an end, because I have, like, my pastor used to say, he says, our lives are divided into like basically three phases, right? So your morning season, your afternoon season, and your evening season. And so your morning is like your from 1 to 25, which is like the foundation of your life. And then your afternoon, which is also like your building phase, which is 26 to 50. And then your evening, which is like your consolidation phase, and your legacy phase, which is like 51 to 70 and above and stuff like that. 50 and above basically. So I felt like turning 22 was just like one more year to 25, right? But now that I've turned 23, it's like I have just 2 years. Just 2 years. And those 2 years I will be spending here in Williams Lake. And it just, I don't know, some videos a while back, I said that I feel like this season is kind of like a wilderness season for me. This is something I've just been, reminding myself of in my mind, and it has just been coming up, here and there in my mind, but I've never really said it out. I just actually just told my friend Paula, like we just basically just finished discussing about it, and I was telling her, I just feel like some sort of pressure. I don't know why, but the pressure just increased. I had been feeling this pressure. It had been increasing from the end of 2022, but then 2023, but then getting into 2024, it started increasing. The intensity started increasing. I don't know if it's pressure, right? But I feel a sense of like a calling, a sense of like a tingling in my spirit is what I have been feeling. And I just don't know if I have been responding to that tingling or that tingle or that calling or something. Well, I don't think I have. I would just be sincere with myself. So yeah, so coming into 2024, it was increasing, and then once I turned 23, it heightened a lot, and I think that also contributed to the whole, going back to Nigeria thing. Yeah, so I just felt that these 2 years, right? I turned 23. It's 2 years to 25. 25 is like my foundation phase. And I'm just thinking, I stay and I think about all the things that have supposed to have happened in my foundation phase. Have I, been able to achieve those things? Have I been able to lay the foundation well? Because, yeah, wow. I started hearing about this thing when I was 19, 20. That was when I was 19, 2018, that was when I graduated from school and got into the university 2019. So March of 2019 was when I joined Kingdom Diplomats, the church. And that was when I started taking my life seriously. And that was when I started listening to my mentor or my pastor, Pastor Ndukwe, and that was when I started hearing this thing about the calibration of your life, how you have to number your days, learn to number your days. Basically, the Bible says, teach us to number our days so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Yeah, so it's kind of like I started hearing these things since I'm like, 19, I still have time now. It's 25. 20, I still have time now. It's 25. I still have 5 more years. 21, I still have 4 more years. 22, I still have 3 more years. But now I'm 23. I'm 23. In as much as I'm smiling, I'm not smiling inside. I'm 23, and I feel like it's dawning on me that I just have 2 more years left, and I think number one, the thing is that I feel like I'm not even like clear on what I should have had done by 25. And so, but one thing I'm very sure of is my relationship with God. I mean, you can start your walk with God at any time, but I don't know, from experience, and if you've listened to, let's say, fathers of the faith, well, even fathers of the faith, some of them started a little bit later, but like, it's just that if you hear it when you're young, it's just best to give yourself to it when you're young. That's what I'm trying to say. So just by listening to, the fathers talk, or listening to people who have had experience, in their walk with God, they just always advise that, you can only do, what's it called? You have more opportunity to get deeper in God when you start early, right? So so that's one thing I know should be consolidated, or should have been worked upon in my young years, right, before I turned 25. And so that's why I feel like this season is a very, very crucial season for me. It's a very crucial season for me. And I think that pressure is also the pressure of, trying not to mess it up. I think that's also where that pressure is coming from, trying not to mess it up and giving myself this. And so I was talking to my friend today. I was talking to my best friend Paula, and she was saying, I was talking to her. She was asking me, okay, what have you been doing, this past few days and stuff like that. And then I told her, how I have been spending my day, also trying to not just trying to improve myself spiritually, but like also trying to improve myself like personally, trying to improve my skill set, especially like with content creation and stuff like that. And also trying to gain clarity on purpose, basically. I remember even on my birthday, will I say my former mentor, now turned friend, yes, he called, and we were just banting. He called me, and he was basically asking like what was my prayer on my birthday, like what was I praying for, what did I ask God for today. And I told him, after like pressuring me and stuff like that and pushing, I eventually did tell him that my prayer is clarity in purpose. Clarity in purpose is what I'm praying for, because I just feel like everything is scattered, and I'm very, very I know that this is something I would eventually have to let go of, but I'm someone who is organized. I like to know things. I like to know what's going on. I don't like to be in the dark. I just like to know that things would eventually, turn out well. I like to plan. Yeah, I'm a planner. I like to plan things. Basically, I like to organize. And so my life is not looking organized right now. So it's really bothering me. And so, I talk to God about it. Clarity and purpose is just, I don't need anything for this birthday. I don't need any physical gifts. I don't need any will I say spiritual gifts? I mean, that's also a spiritual gift. If I gain clarity and purpose, I mean, that's also a spiritual, but spiritual gifts per se, like giftings, what I need is clarity in purpose, because I just feel like if I get that, every other thing is aligned and every other thing will follow suit. And so I was just, that's what I told him, and he's like, okay, so that he was asking me basically so he could join me in prayer and ask, and pray about it too to God, which is something I really, really appreciate. I mean, I don't know, I've heard that thing before, let me, I'll pray for you, or I'll join you in prayers and stuff like that. And I've never really felt the comfort of that before. I don't know, when people used to say, I'll join you in prayer. And I also used to tell people I'll join them in prayer. And I also do help people pray. But I have never really experienced comfort from that before. But that was the first time I did experience a little bit a sense of comfort by someone telling me, oh, because I want to join you in prayer, that was the first time I felt a, sincere sense of comfort from someone saying that. So I was very, very appreciative of that. And yes, we did pray about it together and stuff like that. So with that, that's basically what I've been trying to figure out. And that's basically why I have been slow sort of to come back to creating content, because even this content, I don't just want it to be something that, to be honest, if it's to blow or to get famous, right? I can literally just sit down here and bash people online, right? And say false news or slander people or just do things to get or gain attraction. But where does that take me? What will I gain by doing that? What will other people gain by doing that? Like, how sustainable is that too? So I'm like, with my content, I don't just want to get famous for nothing, right? Or I don't just want to, not to get famous, but I don't just want to, grow for nothing, but like let the growth come because people are gaining valuable stuff from what I'm putting out there. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that's my hope and that's my prayer and that's my wish. And so I'm also, thinking of what can I do? What can I do? Like, what can I do to be more valuable? I know that, investing in knowledge myself and investing in gaining value myself would add more value to me, which would in turn lead to the value that I can give to you guys. But my issue is, what should I invest myself in? Because I was also thinking about it this morning. I'm like, this is so uncomfortable holding something in my right hand. I was also thinking about it this morning. I'm like, I was journaling and I'm like, I don't know what I'm good at. I'm 23 and I do not know what I'm good at. I know that I like to teach. I like to talk. I mean, I literally was thinking about it right from small. I think like another thing I also came to realize was that we forget a lot. We tend to, I think our minds, we tend to forget, and not even just forget, but like, I don't even know if we forget, but we subconsciously not remember things. And I feel like the reason, like the major reason is because we don't sit with ourselves and not do anything but think. Because recently I've just been seeing that random moments when I'm alone, I'm not really doing anything, but I'm thinking, like my mind is just, wandering and thinking on its own. And it's just basically, that thing when you're just, you may be cooking. Basically, you may be cooking and then your mind is just wandering. You're not really thinking about a particular thing. And then your subconscious mind just reminds you of something that you thought you had forgotten, like something you just never really paid attention to. And recently, these things have been resurfacing. And I've been seeing that the things that I'm doing right now did not just start now. These things have had their imprint in my life right from when I was small. So, I've been wondering why, content creation has always been like, it's always something I wanted to do, have a YouTube channel, especially when I came out of secondary school. It was something that I really wanted to do. I had a Nokia Touchlight then, but luckily that Nokia Touchlight, you could like record on it, because my dad was really keen on us not having like phones or electric gadgets before you enter the university. But I don't know why, I was just always the exception. I don't know, maybe because I was the first child and they were just doing an experiment. But here and there I did get access to a phone. I think one of the reasons was just in case they would need to reach us when we were at home and stuff like that. And so here and there I did get access to a phone. And I think when I was in SS2 SST, my dad did eventually get me like a Nokia Touch and gave it to me, like stuff like that. And so and I think everybody was using the phone, but I was in charge of it. And so when I had just graduated from secondary school, literally when I'm at home, because I was at home waiting for admission, I would literally put the Nokia Touchlight in front of my self, and I would record myself. But I would record myself singing and even talking. I would just be randomly talking, like I'll come downstairs. We had this shade on that, like in the house in the middle of the compound, and I would be there and just talking to myself. And on the camera, I never did post the videos. And I just clearly remember, right? So that phase or that season, it just seemed like, that was just something that was relevant, and that was just something I was doing at that time to kill time. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, it wasn't, because look at what I'm doing right now. It's the exact same thing. And, my mom that time used to think like, I remember at that time, I wasn't really on like a good note with my mom. And, I just felt like she was always against everything I was doing. I don't know why I always felt like she was against me, stuff like that. But, right now we're cool. But at that time, Plus, I didn't really spend a lot of time with my mom when I was in secondary school. And so, now I'm out of the university and I'm waiting for admission. I was in the house every day with her. And so we just had to, find a way to live peaceably. It's not like I'm saying like we're arguing, but like, just here and there, things will come up. And at that time I also wanted to do makeup, things like that, and my parents don't really like makeup, and so it's just like, we're just clashing on a lot of things. I just felt like she did not understand me and stuff like that, and at a point I just gave up on the whole thing. So yeah, but that thing of always wanting to be in front of a camera and talk to people and teach people has always been in me. Even I just also remember the Holy Spirit also like reminded me, I'm telling you, like, things you just never even thought were like pointers or were like important. But like I think that's why they say like the formative years of a child is really important, because the things they do at that time can pinpoint you and can help you see where this child may eventually end up, being in the future, or like what this child may end up doing, right? It can give you like an insight. And so I remember when I was small, like primary school, this was primary school, every single day I would come back, I would steal chalk from my class, like from the class. We used to use a chalkboard then, and there's just something about it. I love writing with chalk. I don't know, I'm very, very old fashioned. I like writing in a journal. I love writing with chalk. I like reading hard copy. Like, I'm very old fashioned person. And so I love the idea of writing with chalk, the whole dustiness on your hand. Like when you're writing and you clean the board with your hand is dusty, or you come back from school, you can tell that, you've worked with your hands and stuff like that. It was very, very exciting. I just liked the classroom setting and stuff like that. And so I would steal chalk and come back home, and then my dad had this like shoe rack, but the shoe rack wasn't like the usual shoe rack where you stack your shoes, right? All right, it's recording before I lose my chain of thought. So I was saying that my dad had like this shoe rack, and the shoe rack was not the usual, like the modern kind of shoe rack where you just stack your shoes. It was like this cupboard that you could pull out and push back in. So you pull it out, and then they were stacked on the walls. It was like, and I don't even know why it was red and black for some reason. So it was red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black. I think they were like 8 to 10, 2, like 5, which were like 10, right? And our house had a lot of wood then, right? Because this was like around 2013. No, this was around 2010, 9, 11, 12, stuff like that. I was still in primary school. And so we had just moved into our house like 2006. And so we had, like, my dad was in love with wood then. So the house had a lot of wooden elements to it. And so even the, black and red, shoe rack, even though they were black and red, you could write on them. They basically felt like chalkboards. And so I would steal chalk from my class after we had closed, and then different colors, I would come back, and then I would start writing and teaching my siblings. So they would sit down and I'll be writing. Sometimes, at that time we were really, really stubborn. Sometimes they wouldn't sit down, but I would just be there writing to imaginary people, and I would write, teach, write, clean. When I'm done with like those 10, done writing on the 10 set of shoe rack, the 5 sets of shoe rack, I would go to the pillars, because the pillars had wood on them. I would start writing things like that. And I just liked that this thing of teaching. I liked teaching. And so, recently the Holy Spirit just reminded me about it. I just remembered when I used to steal chalk from primary school and come and write on, the shoe rack in the house. That memory just came out. Like, it just, came up all of a sudden in my mind. And I'm like, like when so now trying to piece the puzzle together, I'm seeing that this thing about talking to people, right, did not just start today. It had its roots or its imprint since I was small. And so it's just like, I know that I like to talk to people. I know that I like to be in front of a camera. I know that, will I say in front of a camera? Do I mean, shooting videos, yes, but taking pictures, no. Yeah. I don't like taking pictures, but like, being on a show, like talking to people, giving like my opinions, and just, encouraging people to, and teaching people. Basically, I know I like to do those things, but how do I, how do I, get into purpose? How does that help me, in fulfilling purpose, right? That's my dilemma right now, and that's what I've been trying to figure out these past few days, which is why, also part of the reasons I haven't really been online. And so, pardon me if you guys, if you're noticing that, I'm not really online that much. Not online, sorry. I'm not really posting or like being frequent with my YouTube videos. I would eventually get to them. I'm basically almost done editing one particular YouTube video that I just shot. So, hopefully I would post it today. I should post it today. So with that, and I'm also trying to, up the quality of the things that I'm doing. So now I have a camera, and I'm just discovering that, the camera is really good. It shoots in 4K and stuff like that. I'm trying to understand photography, because I just feel like trying to just do the video element and not just understand, trying to just sit down and shoot a video and edit, and even the editing is not so, because I don't really do a lot of things. I don't really do a lot of movements in my videos, and my videos don't really need so much like editing, because I do most of like sit down videos, which is also something I'm looking at changing. But yeah, we'll get to that one problem at a time. So I just realized that just, sitting down and recording and editing is not all there is to, producing a good, like, or quality content. You also need to understand the light element, stuff like that. Yes, this camera is good because like it was made for vloggers. And so I'm using an automatic mode, because I really don't know how to set all those like ISO, aperture, and what do you call it? Depth of field. Things like that. I don't understand all this photography stuff, which I'm trying to understand just so I can serve you guys well. Because I feel like if I'm going to put anything out there, and if I'm trying to work with God, God is an excellent person. And because I'm working with God, there's this write-up I had on my wall when I was back in Kamloops. It says, being a follower of Jesus does not cover up bad work. And so I feel like a lot of people tend to, when it comes to spiritual things or the things of Christ or the things of Jesus, they tend to, or the things of God, they tend to do it so mediocrely, because they're like, you don't really need to put in so much effort and stuff like that. Is God, God will still do things like that. But I feel like, but the truth is that the more, because it's God, is why it should be more excellent. Because God is excellent, and if we are made in his image, we are made to be excellent with the things that we do. And so just carrying that mentality is kind of like now it's becoming kind of like let's say a burden, but a good kind of burden. I mean, it's calling me up to betterness. I don't know the word. English fails me sometimes. It's calling me up to like betterness, and to be better, to be a better version of myself, basically improving my skill set and learning and stuff like that. But it's also a burden, because I'm just like, I have things to do. I have to learn how to do it. And that's the it's not curse of knowledge now, but is it curse of knowledge? No, that's not the curse of knowledge. But that's I don't know how to put it. I don't know the English to use, but the burden you have to carry once you know something, right? Once you know about something, you are no longer ignorant. You no longer have that bliss of ignorance, because people say ignorance is bliss. It's bliss, to be honest, sometimes. But like once you now know, you are now accountable, because you know better, so you should do better. Right? So there's that. And so that's what I've been trying to do, in case you're wondering, what's going on and stuff like that. And even if you're not wondering, I'm telling you, because you decided to watch this video, and this is a digital diary of my life. And so I'm telling you, that's what has been going on. And yeah, hopefully I, figure this out as soon as possible. And even if I don't figure it out as soon as possible, I just want to be in alignment with the plan of God for my life. I just want to be like at the center of his will, and just grow as a person, and be truthful to myself, and be truthful in my dealings with other people, because I just feel like sincerity would show eventually. And I just feel like authenticity is something that I really value. And when I'm not being authentic with myself, just imagine how that makes me feel. Like, this is something you proclaim or you claim to value, but you're not being authentic with yourself or with other people, it just makes you, it dampens my self-esteem a little bit. Just, the more you keep doing it, the more it keeps dampening yourself. So I remember there was a video one time that I put out, and then it was along the lines of, it's not on YouTube, it was on Instagram, but I think I've taken it down. But, I was saying that, I had a friend then who taught me at that time, and he said, if you keep saying that you're going to do something and you don't do it, you are the person that gets hurt the most, because yes, other people will say, oh, you said you're going to do this and you don't do it. Like, they will eventually get over it. It's not their life. People are basically not, to be honest, people are basically not concerned, right? But to you let yourself down. If you keep doing it, you keep letting yourself down. And even if you don't know it, subconsciously, your self-esteem is just like, you're infringing upon your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is just getting lower and lower and lower, because you keep saying you're going to do something and you keep not showing up. And one thing I've been hearing frequently and recently is that you can lie to other people, but one person you cannot lie to is yourself. It's a truth I'm coming to face. So you can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself. And so I want to step into this phase and into this season with authenticity, right? Even if, yes, it's not like I'm a fraud or something. I've been a fraud before. Well, maybe maybe I've been gangster. Have I? I don't think so. But here and there, like, I haven't always been authentic with myself and even with other people. But one thing I want to do moving forward is to be authentic with myself and with other people, because it just makes life easy. It makes life easy. To be authentic and to be sincere makes life easy. And so, yes, hopefully you enjoy this chit chat, and I'm just putting it out there just in case you are feeling the same, or someone who is going through the same thing. Being aware, right? Like they said, like, being aware of a problem is half of it being solved. At least you've even started. That's better than not even knowing that there is a problem, right? So being aware of it is halfway done. Like, even if, let me not say halfway, but like quarter way done. Right? So yeah, if you're feeling this type of way, I suggest also talking to people. Like I said, I was talking to my friend today. I don't even know if I completed that story, but I was talking to Paula today, and I was just bearing my heart out to her, basically just telling her the same thing I just told you guys right now, like how this season is feeling like a season of change for me, and transformation, and I feel like God is calling me into something higher, and stuff like that. God is calling me into, like, growth. You need to grow. You need to leave some things. You need to stop doing some things. You need to pick up some things. You need to get serious, and stuff like that. And she started asking me, okay, what have I been doing this past few days? Basically, I moved into this house the 1st of May, which is really nice, because I remember I told you guys I like organization, I like to be planned and stuff like that. So imagine moving in on the 1st of a new month is just like, it's beautiful. It just gives me like this freshness and stuff like that. So I mean, you can always start any day basically, but it's just nice. You know what I mean. It's just nice to do things on the first day of the week, first day of the month, stuff like that. So it was really nice. She was asking me, okay, what have you been doing for this past 15 days? Today's 15th, so this past 15 days. And I told her what I've been up to, getting a job, also like trying to improve my skill set, also trying to get consistent in the place of prayer, like my quiet time and this thing and devotion, trying to build that consistency every day, even if I wake up and I do not feel like reading my Bible. I do not feel like fellowshipping, but having, building that discipline right now. And I feel like it's also really good, because I felt like, it would help now that I'm not in school, right? Once school starts and the business of school starts, if I don't have this discipline right now, it will be hard to keep up when school starts. But by the time I, build this discipline, when school starts, even if it's hectic, because I already have this ritual, and because I know that the more you do it, the more you fellowship with God, the more hunger you get. So it's basically it's a thing that grows by reason of use, basically by reason of use. So the more I do it, the more hunger I would get for God, the more passionate I would be for God, the more I would want to keep reading his word and keep living for the kingdom. And so, I was telling her these were the things I've been up to and stuff like that. And she was saying, you're already doing what God is calling you into, right? You're already in the process. So like she was basically saying there's no need to like feel pressure, like basically opening my not opening my eyes, but basically guiding my perspective and shifting my sight from worrying to like actually seeing that, okay, I'm already giving myself to this person. Even if it felt like nothing was happening, it felt like I wasn't doing anything. Like it felt like I was just waiting. Like I don't even know what I was waiting for. Whether it was from waiting for a voice from heaven or what, though, I don't even know. But I just felt like I was waiting for something extraordinary and spectacular. But the thing with that is that, I don't know I think it was Lawrence Oyer that used to say like spiritual things are not always spectacular. I don't know. I forget how he puts that, but he was basically trying to say that like basically the turning moments in our lives, or the important moments in our lives, are not always the mind-blowing moments. Most of the time it's like in the little things, it's in the consistency, it's in the very, very subtle things. And so she was trying to shift my perspective to see that I was already, I'm already giving myself to the process, or giving myself to the birth pains that I'm feeling. That's what my mentor called it. She was like, what you're feeling right now is birth pains, sorry, birth pangs, right? So she was like, you're already giving yourself to that, with these things you've been doing this past few days. She was like, it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, like it doesn't have to be out of the blues, but the fact that you're doing it consistently is what matters, and you're giving yourself daily to it is what matters. And so that's why I feel like also, if you're feeling this kind of way, having someone around you, the right people around you, which I will always emphasize, right, having the right people around you to talk to would really help. Don't just go through it alone. And yeah, I think in this period, having people like I can talk to, and even if I don't want to talk, they still want to talk. So having people like that, I think is very it's a very huge thing, and it's a very beautiful thing to be grateful for. So you don't have to carry your burden alone, right? There are people that God has put around you for you and to help you in different times and different seasons. It's just to be able to accept the help that they are offering, right? Accept the help that they're offering. Yeah. So that's that. I don't know the English now. I don't want to make a mistake with my words. Is it like I have borne my troubles to you guys? Or is it bore? I have given or let out my troubles to you guys. Not my troubles, but my heart to you guys. I've borne my heart to you guys. I don't know. English is hard. I don't know how I came this far in my studies. So I'm basically giving you my heart and poured out my heart to you. That's the word. I've poured out my heart to you like a drink offering, like Paul will say. And hopefully you resonate with it, and give this video a like. Make sure you like the video, and don't be wicked, just like it. Even if you just like it because you stay to the end of this time, and share the link. Leave me a comment if you also have like advice for this type of thing, or like if you've been through this phase before, or you've experienced something similar and something helped you get through it. Like, what is it that helped you come out of this phase? Just let me know in the comments. You may be helping other people. You may not just even help me, but help the people who are also going to view this like video. This video feels very authentic, so I'm very proud of it. All right, I'll see you guys when next I see you guys, whatever that content is.